In 1998, this company sold more phones than every other phone maker on earth combined. By 2013, it was gone, bought out for less than the price of a small apartment building in Manhattan. This is the story of how Nokia built an empire and handed it away. Right now in your pocket is probably a phone made by Apple or Samsung. But for over a decade, one name owned the mobile phone industry so completely that competitors weren't even in the same conversation. That name was Nokia. At its peak, Nokia controlled nearly 40% of every phone sold on the planet. One in three humans who owned a mobile phone owned a Nokia. So, what happened? How does a company that dominant just disappear? Stick around because the answer is one of the biggest cautionary tales in tech history. Nokia didn't start as a phone company at all. It began in Finland in 1865 as a paper mill, then moved into rubber boots, then cables, before finally landing on electronics in the 1980s. When Nokia entered the mobile phone business, phones were bulky, expensive, and mostly for business people. Nokia's bet was simple: make phones for everyone, durable, affordable, simple to use. In 1998, that bet paid off. Nokia became the best selling phone brand in the world, a position it wouldn't lose for over a decade. Phones like the 3310 became cultural icon, famous for a battery that lasted days and a body that could reportedly survive being run over by a car. By the mid 2000s, Nokia wasn't just winning, it looked unbeatable. But here is what most people don't know. While Nokia was busy dominating hardware, it was quietly falling behind on something much bigger: software. Nokia's phones ran on an operating system called Symbian. It worked, but it was clunky, difficult for outside developers to build for, and starting to feel outdated. Then in 2007, everything changed. Steve Jobs walked on stage and introduced the iPhone. Inside Nokia, the reaction wasn't panic, it was dismissal. We are winning! Nokia executives reportedly saw the iPhone as a niche, expensive gadget that couldn't compete with Nokia's manufacturing scale and battery life. They weren't entirely wrong about the challenges Apple faced, but they badly underestimated what a touchscreen app-based smartphone would mean for the industry. Around the same time, Google was developing Android and planning to give it away for free to phone makers. Nokia had the resources, the market share, and the head start to respond to both threats. Instead, it kept investing in Symbian, trying to modernize an aging system instead of rethinking the phone from the ground up. By 2010, the gap was impossible to ignore. Developers were building the best apps for iPhone and Android, not Symbian. Consumers started choosing phones based on the apps and experience, not just hardware toughness. Nokia brought in a new CEO, Stephen Elop, who was blunt about the crisis, describing the company as standing on a burning platform. Nokia partnered with Microsoft, betting the company's future on Windows Phone. It was too late. Windows Phone struggled to attract developers, stuck between two giants that already had the app ecosystem locked down. Nokia's market share collapsed from nearly 40% to 5% in just a few years. In 2013, Microsoft bought Nokia's phone business for about $7 billion, a fraction of what Nokia had once been worth. The companies that once outstripped every competitor's combined had, in less than a decade, become a footnote in the story of a market it used to own. Nokia's failure wasn't about bad engineers or bad phones. Nokia phones were still built well right until the end. It was about mistaking hardware dominance for software readiness. It is a pattern that repeats across tech history. The leaders get comfortable, underestimate a new kind of competitor, and react too slowly to change. The companies that win long term aren't always the one with the best product today. They are the ones willing to make their own product obsolete before someone else does it for them. If you enjoy this story, there is a lot more like it in tech history. Companies that had it all and lost it in years, sometimes months.